Well, hey, y'all. Welcome to Sharpen, where no matter the conversation, we always seem to whittle life down to what matters most. And we hope that as you hang out with us, you will be inspired to do the same. My name is Nicole Payne. To my left is Natira Blount, and to my right is Danielle Perry. And as you can see, we are missing our sister Lynn Root today, but by God's grace, she will be back with us the next time. So today's topic is, can I be corrected?
What you got? Because I'm still thinking.
I don't think I got. I know I got something, but I just feel like I don't have now. Because what keeps coming to my mind is what somebody else does, but this isn't about somebody else. This is about me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
Yeah.
It is tricky.
And I want to be able to give an example. When I did not respond wisely. Externally, obviously, because when we go through correction, we might not respond wisely internally a whole bunch before the correct external response.
I mean, for me, I can really only think about my husband, because I feel like sometimes that's where our guards are down. Like we get in that whole moody kind of like, we may not show it to somebody else like how we show it to our spouse. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. So I mean, I'm corrected quite a bit by Jared. I'm just trying to think of a situation. I'm trying to think of a situation. I complimented him the other day, though. I was reading about Jesus in one of the Gospels, and I said, if that ain't my husband, just how Jesus spoke truth to the Pharisees, because Jared is like, he's kind of cutthroat when it comes to truth. And sometimes I'm like, all right, like, you need to kind of like package that a little better. Like, I know what you're saying is truth, right? But if you don't present it to me in a way that is just like, put a little salt on it, like season it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Savor.
You know what I mean? Like put a little salt on it. And I think when he doesn't, because that is something that he's working on, but when he doesn't at times, that's when I'm like, don't come at me like that type of feeling. You know what I mean? And for me, I think the way that I respond externally is my facial expressions also, because he'd be like, sweetheart, why you look like that? Like, why your face like that? And I don't always, what's the word? If I'm quiet, that's when he also knows like something's going on. So for me, it's kind of, I get in a recluse, I guess, like I just kind of like sit back and be like, okay. So if I'm not talking, that's when he knows like, yeah, something's wrong. So I would say for me, as far as like an external thing that I do when I'm corrected well, is if I don't receive it well initially, I'll get quiet and my face shows that something's wrong with me. And I may say the wrong thing as well if I don't watch my words. I mean, that's the best that I have in this moment, Nick. I don't know. I'm trying to be real specific, but.
So when you don't watch your words, do you let them linger, or do you come back and show accountability for them?
I try my best to come back. Because there are some times where, I don't know if it happens with y'all, but you say stuff and it's like you mean it in the moment. And then it's like, when you sit and think about what you said, it's like, okay, I know I shouldn't have said that. And honestly, sometimes you don't want to go back and say, I apologize, I shouldn't have said that. But I try my best. I try my best to come back and make sure that I say, you know what, that wasn't right what I said, and I shouldn't have said that. So
I've learned with the words part, how I have learned I do hold it in for a minute. kind of like when you open the soda and you know the soda's gonna, and you just turn it a little bit, and only a little bit seeps out, and then you just kind of close it and you give it a minute, and then you open it and it doesn't flow.
Okay.
But I have learned how to kind of just wait, but it's in the form of a shutdown. So very similar to what you were saying. Okay, what's wrong? Nothing. It's been it'll go for a minute, because I know. Now, first of all, that's a lie,
Right.
but I don't feel like saying I don't want to talk about it right now, because then you're going to ask me another question. So I just be like, I'm good. You want? I'm fine. I'm just gonna go, and then I avoid.
Yes.
And but lately, I have a good little basket of accountability partners that I can talk to. This most recent time I called Lynn, and she just let me unload. She let the soda just explode, and she kind of helped me kind of. And when I talked to her, I told her, I said, if I say something now, it's gonna come out. Ooh, that thing gonna come out. That thing gonna come out wrong, and I don't want to do it because I knew better, so I knew what I wanted to say and how I was feeling didn't match up with what I was bothered by. It wasn't all that bad, but I was still pretty not happy.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, but if I say something now, it's gonna be a whole thing, and it doesn't need to be. But I just gotta get it. Like, I could feel it was so much pressure because I was so tense with whatever with what it was, and I couldn't talk to the person that caused it. So I went to Lynn and I talked to her, and then the next day, a good time into the next day, I was able to then talk in the right tone with the right context. So it doesn't always feel good. It's physically like you're holding something in. Like, and it's very uncomfortable. But for Lauren, like, you don't have to unload on said individual.
Yeah.
Just unload on somebody who's not even a part of it, who you can trust, who will help talk you down. And you have to know, like, I can't talk to so-and-so because they're going to have my back, and it's going to be like, let me tell you something, because every time, like, no, that's dead wrong, because, and I'm like, no, I can't talk to said individual. This is going to pump me up more. Yeah. Then I'm going to come and be like, so first of all, because, and it's just not going to be, so to know who and when, and it turned out, it was a good conversation. It was something where there was maybe a little bit of correction attached to what I needed to say. Yeah. But timing and tone, all that matters. That's good. Yeah. Because when it comes to correcting, like, we feel like, we can give you a Bible verse and then just talk to you like you fool to fool. And it's not right. It's not. Why? I some people just, I guess some people don't think it does, but tone, delivery, timing, that all it matters. Absolutely. It matters. If you think it doesn't, we might say something that is on and necessary and could be helpful. Right. But since your delivery was fish flash funky, they not going to get it. And the point's not going to be made. Fish flash. Yeah. The point's not going to be, your point's not going to get across. Absolutely. Because they got up a wall, like, you kidding me? When I'm 5 years old now? You talking to me like that? Yeah. Step off. So I think all of that matters when it comes to this. I agree.
Well, you all are, you're making me, you helped me find one. Or something of the sort. Because you're talking about timing, you're talking about taking a beat, give it a minute. I used to not do that. See? And I'm thinking of Quasi, and I don't really remember specific situation, but I can just remember myself, if he didn't want to talk about something, but I felt that same bottle cap type of thing inside, I wanted to deal with it then. Yep. And so I would keep saying stuff. I would keep asking questions. He's like, Nick, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, but why? But so when I did this, or when this happened to like, why you didn't just then, Nick? Yeah. and then he would say, because if I say something now, same thing for you.
Right.
If I say something
it ain't
now,
gonna come
it's
out good.
not going to be good.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, so what?
No.
Like,
No.
why you can't say it now?
You still
Why
going.
you still going?
You
That's
still
that's
going.
what y'all just brought up. Still going. Like not being humble enough to then try to exercise patience.
Yeah.
And if the man ain't ready to talk, he ain't ready to talk. He's not ready to talk. And you have to respect that and know that there's wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Take a beat. Leave it alone for now so that y'all ain't trying to clean up something that could have been avoided.
Yep.
So that was my problem. That's when I would not respond wisely to his correction of, Nick, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm grateful that I'm different. Experience in marriage and relationship and communication. Yeah, I've learned. So, yeah. Because I here's the thing. You know how nowadays, well, I'll speak for myself, but I'm confident you guys might see the same. I can laugh and hear my mother's laugh. Or I can say something and be like, dang, Nana sure would have said something just like that. Character traits that I have and have had to allow God to prune, some of them were passed down from my mom. Some of them passed down from dad. You know what I mean? Or learned behaviors from family members or parents. Yeah. And it's just, it's kind of eye-opening, and my mom, I know she's going to see this. She would agree and say the same thing. And we've talked about these things. Like, as you're growing and as you're maturing and as you see things that kind of surface from your life, you look at it and say, because my mom would say, her mom, my grandmother, she would do these things. And my mom, as she was growing and raising me, would determine, I ain't going to do that. You know what I mean? And so, because my mama was a little fiery, and when I would get in those kinds of moments, I'd be like, whoa, you're allowing to surface what's learned or what you've seen before.
Right.
And so, that's just a part of growing up and maturing. You got to know what to keep, what to allow God to prune, what to put away from you,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Next question. What are your thoughts? And we've kind of touched on this, and I heard I heard a word repeated a lot. But what are your thoughts about the way correction should be done? I heard done in love. I heard that. I heard seasoning. I heard
How do you do that?
the Salt Bay. Yeah,
Timing
and tone and
timing and tone.
Yeah.
But even choosing your words wisely. So what I love a lot of things about Montague. One of the things I love the most is that he will take his time with if he needs to relay something, especially if he knows she's probably not going to enjoy this. However, it needs to be just the way he chooses his words. And, it's not like he's afraid to have those conversations.
Right.
I'm not that much of a pill. But he just doesn't want to hurt. He doesn't want to hurt me because he knows if anybody's words can hurt me, it will be his.
Right.
So he's always very careful with his words. When he has something that needs to be said or something that needs to be addressed. And sometimes I get mad because he won't say anything. And then I'll be like, well, I told you, I said something the other day. I tried to ask, you said you didn't say anything. And he would say, well, I didn't know what to say yet. Or, I was too angry to say anything. So I know that he exercises that same type of discipline.
Yep.
Because sometimes we, feel like, I got Bible, I got verse, I have examples, I got exhibit A, B, C, D. So I'm right. And you could be right. And you feel like right then, let me just give you all this. And it's not always time.
Yeah.
it's just not always time. And I don't know if we always get that when it comes time to correct. It's just not always time.
That's good. It's not always time, and I think going back to what you said, Natira, how you spoke to Lynn before you spoke to your husband, I think that that's something that we should do if necessary. I think we should go to a trusted source first before we correct someone, or your situation was different. I don't think you were in the mode of correcting. You were receiving correction,
But I did, no, it was something that I needed to kind of, it was a little correcting that I needed to do
okay.
in that.
In that situation. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's good when we do go to people that we can trust, that won't be biased.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're not able to individually, like by ourselves, do it well. So to have someone else show us how to do it or give suggestions, I think that that's helpful as well.
And I tried calming down before I called Lynn. I tried to listen to worship music. I couldn't get my mind together to pray. And I couldn't find a place where I could do it out loud because of the situation. And I didn't need the kids to hear what I'd say, and I didn't want Montague to hear. I guess I have a big mouth. So I couldn't find a place where I could out loud. But then my mind was so cluttered.
Yeah.
I couldn't pray.
Right.
Like
right.
I just couldn't. I took a shower. Did I say that already? I tried to take a shower and calm down and I was still just very all up in here, just so bothered.
Yep.
And I just remember when I finally did talk to her, and she was like, "You need to slow down. You need to calm down," because she was about to catch it. But she was right. Like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you up there? And I just could not get myself right to feel like I could give that soft answer that was necessary at the time.
Yeah.
So that was like literally what I had to talk to. I had to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Right, yes, honey.
Yeah.
I had to.
Absolutely.
I've been in the book of 1 Corinthians lately, looking at gifts of the Spirit, and I was trying to find the exact verse, but when we're talking about how correction should be done, love should be at the base of it. And then love will then affect how it's delivered, or should affect how it's delivered. In somewhere between 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 1 Corinthians chapter 14, the Apostle Paul basically gives a message that, the Holy Spirit gives this person the ability to do this, and this person the ability to do this, and then this person. And there's an order to it as well, because we're not all trying to have the most impressive gift, right? Because at the base of it all love should be operating, because this should be to build up the body of Christ. When you allow the Holy Spirit to function in you in a certain type of way, that you deliver this type of, through this type of gift. And that's how I believe correction should be done as well. I mean, even in chapter 13, the attributes of what love is are spelled out for us, and it is patient, and it is kind, and it is long suffering, and it doesn't keep records of wrong. When we go to correct, the corrector needs to ask internally, ask God, like, is love at the base of this, or am I trying to get my agenda across? First of all, because then, like it says, if you have not love, but you can speak in tongues, and if you have not love, but you can prophesy with the best of them, like, you're nothing. You making noise, and you need to be quiet. Same with correction. If love isn't at the base of it, then you're going to operate in error, be it out of time, wrong tone, no seasoning, whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It gets dangerous.
Dangerous. Yeah, because also, so like we're a lot of this we're thinking about our husbands first, but I outside of that, because we're not going anywhere. If
Right.
if Montague says something I don't like, I'm not
Correct.
gonna be like, well, listen, I'm gone.
You're right.
But right, but with a friend or at work, or like, you can cut people off if you feel like you don't know how to talk to me, you don't have any respect for me. Every time you come at me, you telling me what I'm doing wrong. Again, back to that whole rebuking thing too, because I think that we do put rebuke in the place of correcting.
Right.
Because you ain't got nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
When you do my formal observation and you give me a 2 out of 4 in this area,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see a blurb on the side.
Some notes.
Number one, about why.
Uh-huh.
Furthermore, when we have our one-on-one, I'm gonna need to see that you jotted down some strategies for moi. Because other than that, you go ahead and bump me to a 4. 'Cause you
Correct.
ain't got nothing for me.
Correct.
If it's something you telling me something that can't be fixed, then put it at a 4. So like the rebukes are, puh. It's just, it does not. Why? But also where.
Yeah.
Why you put me on blast?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why you gotta have an audience?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What is we doing right now? Like what? Why?
That's good.
That thing ain't. It's
That's
not.
good.
It's not cute. It's not. And recently, Montague was FaceTiming, but Samara was with him, and I forgot what happened. Something. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was something, and I was like, yeah, but you left something I said, or something he said that wasn't right, and I kind of just correct. It was something minor,
Right.
and he was like, he being sassy. But he was looking at me like, don't do that while she's sitting right here. Like, stop. Like, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different. Whereas another time, it probably would have been, we'd have just kind of talked about it and it would have just been like, whatever. But his was, that's literally where he was like, you being sassy. Like, it turned into me being sassy because you stunting in front of Samara.
Yeah, you
Stop,
have
like,
minors.
don't do that.
Yeah.
I think that's another caveat that makes it like, ugh. Whoosh.
And I think, so that gets tricky because I thought about the example of Paul rebuking Peter.
About being a
Paul
hypocrite.
rebuked Peter, right? Yeah, it was Paul. He rebuked Peter in front of everyone, right? But it's discerning when that's appropriate. For example, I don't have kids yet, but I imagine if you're correcting one of your children, sometimes your other children may need to see that so that they'll know maybe what not to do. So it can happen in front of other people, but what's the reason behind it? Is your motive not to put them on blast, but to let everybody know? Like, I'm trying to remember Paul's case and why he was able to correct Peter publicly. And I think it was because of the situation and him being a hypocrite. And I have to reread it again, but that example just came to my mind when you were talking to Tyra. So I think there's a way to do it publicly according to the scriptures, but you have to know that if you're going to do it publicly, it has to be done well, if I may say it that way. It has to be done well. So yes, I think that there is a time and a place.
Yeah, and it depends on the audience. There's an appropriate public, and there's an inappropriate public.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what the situation is.
What the situation
So if
is,
it's something with one of my kids that's really sticky, embarrassing, I'm not doing that in front of the other kids. I don't care if they're siblings. They're not going. It's just not. It's not going to go over well. And it's not like they're going to throw something and storm out. I hate you. Like it's not going to be that. But it's just like they understand that there is. They feel the love more when you respect it enough to say, Gideon, go downstairs. Go downstairs. Close the door. Now I need to talk to you, Joshua.
Yeah.
Because the love is there more. They interpret the love more. Now, if it's something where this happened, but even still, because if this happened, but I need all the kids in the house to know that this can't happen on any front. The correction might still be in private. And then, now we really do, but we are going to have a family conversation about it so that we don't see it happen again.
Right.
And then, there's just a way to do it.
It's a way to do it.
Where that love, you can see it. If I'm saying it where you understand what I mean.
I understand and I agree. And I'm thinking of, too, when, again, making sure that it's done well, praying about it, maybe talking to somebody else about it to see if you should present it publicly. Because I know that there are situations where some things happen in front of an audience. So as far as correction goes, sometimes the correction needs to be done so that the audience can see that it's done because everybody saw maybe what took place.
Yes. Well,
You know
listen,
what I mean?
you embarrass me in a grocery store. You're going to get popped in front of everybody in the grocery. You scream first. He who laughs last. I always tell my kids, I say, all right, you can do that. You can act up if you want to. You're going to be the last one embarrassed. You're going to be the last one embarrassed. Okay, because I can get big. Right. But yeah. If it was a public, then, if it was a public thing that was, that everyone saw or partook of, or however it works, it probably, not always, but probably needs to be addressed publicly, because if not, it can have an effect on how other people then start feeling like they can.
Right.
Or it's a thing now, like, because this happened, but ain't nobody say nothing then.
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of going with that, because sometimes when it happens in front of an audience and the audience doesn't see the correction done, all they have in their mind is what took place.
Yeah, that it happened and now everything's fine.
Yeah. So
don't say nothing to me when
sometimes you kind of just need that kind of closure. You know what I mean? And
Public announcement.
And
That's true.
That's not to say that the correction is being done for the first time in front of everybody. You may have had a private conversation with whoever it needed to be had with.
Yeah.
But as far as everybody, just privy to what took place, I think sometimes it needs to be addressed that, this person, we talked, we had a conversation.
Right.
I'm addressing it now with everyone because you all saw what happened. So I think
that's tasteful. And not necessarily embarrassing.
Yeah.
With the way the way you worded it and the way you said it. I think that we burn bridges when we don't do it right.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
And then it's just always forever a thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes a wound that doesn't heal correctly because it wasn't addressed correctly or just in a way where you really want to make sure that the love is still there. Because people are going to do things they shouldn't. People are going to do things that they know good and well, and other people might know about it and think things will happen, but we need to be mature enough, and I can't pinpoint where that scripture is that talks about and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but as best we can to try and get along with or live peaceably with people of God. And I think that we feel like, well, this is what they did, so we're just going to address it like that. And then wonder why you're burning bridges. And now they feel like they can't trust you, or they can't come to you, or they don't want your company anymore, or, that relationship is done. And that's the hard part about doing it right. Because you can do it right and people be mad at you.
Yes.
Hey,
can't please everybody.
Yeah, you can't please everybody.
That ain't on this girl.
My therapist helped me with that.
Yes. But it's when we don't.
Yeah.
And then now it's a pride
Yeah.
thing between the both of us.
Right.
And it just
Right.
fizzles away into a wasted opportunity.
Yeah. And another thing that comes to mind, I'm sorry, Nick, because you just been speaking a lot for the
It's
last
okay.
5 minutes, whatever. But something else that
Tara said 10.
might have been some.
Ah.
But something else that comes to mind too is, some people have the mentality of, well, I just speak truth. And so they need to know.
Yeah.
But
That's that Taraji B. Henson. Boy.
But sometimes you don't need to say anything at all.
Correct.
And then other times, just because you speak truth doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be packaged a certain
Appropriately,
way.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know you said that already, Natira, but I just can think of a situation for me where someone was telling me about myself, things that were right, things that were true, but the way that it was being said to me was like, it was hard to receive because you're kind of saying it in a way of, because I'm just letting you know, because you duh, and you duh. But if it's not said right, it's like, yeah, you're right. I do need to work on that. I do that sometimes, and yeah, you're right. But it's still kind of like, but why you had to say it like that? Because it almost feels like there's something in you so strong against me.
Yeah, there's another
that-
agenda.
Yeah, that I
Besides
can't
correcting.
really, it's like, yeah, you're right, but where is the love, So I think even with people who are very just direct in speaking their truth also need to make sure that it's tactfully done. And I say people, I don't say I, because this is something that I'm working on as far as being more verbal with expressing just my feelings in general. But I'm saying for people who, I don't care, shoot, they gonna know how I feel. Okay.
West
Should
Coast.
you say that right now? And if you do say it, make sure you put some salt on it. So, yeah.
But I like what you said too. Not everything needs to be said. I just don't. I don't think that we don't always have to unload everything on to people.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we take on a responsibility that we don't need to have.
By being the unloader.
Yeah, yeah, and just feeling like I mean, these are facts. They're not unmerited. What's that word? I just had that word in my head.
Unwarranted?
Unsolicited. I mean, just like your again, your timing stinks. Your delivery stinks. And it's a missed moment, or just a missed opportunity for it to be something that can be done it can be done in love. And I'm not saying love means soft.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, because
Right.
I can say something to you that's not soft, but I can say it in love. Still, and it still might sting, but I said it in love.
Yes,
But we got to go back to, what does the Bible say love? We talk about like, she just need a little tough love. What does that mean? Because I'm looking and I don't see where it love. I see love, patient love is kind, love is tough. What version is that? The Message Bible? So like we sometimes feel like this person just needs to be roughed up a little bit. That's your job. I remember I was in this organization. They would say like, but we just need to break people down so we can build them back up. Who told you to do that? That's your job? That's your
That's
responsibility?
what the armed services do.
What are you talking about? So I just, I think we take on what we feel like is our responsibility
That's
to
good.
do.
That's good.
And then we say, well, look, I'm just keeping
I'm
it
just
100
being
with you.
real.
I'm just being real. I'm just, and that's funny. And that goes back to the conversation Montague and I had when I was just like, you trying to change me. But I'm just trying to be real with you. And we hide behind that phrase and use it to be rude.
Okay, y'all. Well, that was today's episode of Sharpen on Can I Be Corrected? Where, like every time, no matter the conversation, we always seem to whittle life down to what matters most. And we hope that today, as you hung out with us, you were able to, or you were inspired to do the same. And so we thank y'all so much for being with us. Lynn, we miss you. And
miss you.
next time you're going to be with us or whatever. If you like this video, please like, please share, please comment, and subscribe to the channel. YouTube, Spotify, yes, and Facebook. Just be.
Oh, look, we said it at the same time. Just be, y'all.
So we'll see y'all next time, okay?
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye.